Over 500,000 people from Garissa County are in dire need of food intervention as the ongoing drought continues to wreak havoc in the country. My name is Gloria Milimu, and on this episode of Health Digest, we interrogate the nutrition status of the county as women and children remain the most affected by the adverse effects of climate change. It is considered the worst drought ever to be experienced in the country in the last 40 years. And in its wake, this climatic disaster is worsening the food and nutrition vulnerabilities of Kenya's most marginalized communities. Here in Garissa County, the last 5 rain seasons have failed, and weather forecasts indicate that this year's long rains, which are projected to start later this month, will fail too. This is a county on its knees. It is a parched land where dust blows to the skies, where temperatures hit the low 40s every afternoon, and where the lives and livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of people have been turned upside down. It is brutally hot and dry here in Garissa County. The ongoing drought being witnessed across the country has not only made life unbearable for residents here in Bula Mobile area, but also impacted on the nutrition status of its young ones. 40-year-old Amina Mohammed, a resident of Bula Mobile area in Balambala constituency, is among the thousands of residents here who can barely afford a meal. As a result, 2 of her 5 children are malnourished. The living markers of the dreadful fortunes this small family has gone through in the last 12 months.
Wanyama wote walikufa, tulikosa kitu kupea, watoto wanatapika, wanaendesha, so ndo wakaanza kuwa na hiyo signs ya being malnourished. Watoto hawana kitu ya kukula, wanyama wote walikufa. That is why mtoto wangu aliadhiriwa na hii malnourished.
On the day we visited Amina's home, we caught up with a community health worker who had come to check on the progress of the 2 malnourished children. Such visits help the community health workers here determine whether the thousands of malnourished children that dot this region are responding to medical and nutritional interventions in a bid to get their health back on track.
We will use more to know the malnourished status of this kid. Yeah. That is good. We first have to take the midpoint to take the measurements of the heart to know the midpoint. We have a length of 20, so the midpoint is supposed to be at 10. Yeah. With the measurement, it's showing 13.3 at green. That means the child has improved with the intervention that we give him.
The bad state of nutrition in Amina's community is largely attributed to worsening food insecurity that has led to low milk availability. In pastoral communities such as hers, life revolves around the animals they keep. In good times, her family enjoys a regular supply of milk from the cows and goats they keep, but now that is no more. The drought has torn down through their herds, killing and slowly maiming. And the few that remain are so scrawny, they can't be used as a source of food or sold to generate much needed income for this family.
Nilikuwa na mbuzi 50. Saa hii like 30 imebaki, 20 zimekufa.
Na nilikuwa na ngombe wawili, moja imekufa na kuna mwingine sasa hivi. Na for the past 3 years watoto wangu walikuwa na this malnourished. Hao mpacha na wengine. So mbuzi wangu nilikuwa naziuza, nilikuwa napeleka sokoni kuziuza, naenda kwa duka kuuza vitu za nyumbani. So sasa mbuzi zangu zote zimekufa, like 20 of them imekufa. So na zile zimebaki, like huwezi peleka sokoni. Zimekonda, wengine wako na ugonjwa. Hii ukame imeniadhiri sana.
And so, without milk, meat, or other means of nutritional survival, Amina and her family are at the mercy of the menacing blue skies of Garissa County. And as if that is not enough, they are now forced to fight another battle just to keep going, that of water scarcity. Women who have been shown to bear the brunt of climatic catastrophes are forced to walk long distances in search of a few drops of drinking and cooking water. And when they get to a watering hole, they are scarcely assured of filling their jerrycans with the precious commodity.
Tunatoa maji mbali sana. Kwa mfano, wamama walioenda asubuhi kutafuta maji mpaka saa yao kurudi. It's like 4 to 5 hours kutafuta tu maji.
Just a few meters away from Amina's home is Salada Ahmed's. This 24-year-old mother of 4 has also been battling the uninvited guest in homes that seem so common here, malnutrition. 3 of her 4 children are malnourished. The young mother tells us that there is barely enough to feed her and her babies. Should the drought persist, she fears for the worst. She does not want to contemplate it. That future is so bleak to imagine, to fathom. Yet, as a mother, she has to brace herself for that brutal reality.
Kwa sababu ya hii kiangazi, watoto wetu wamekuwa na shida, hakuna chakula yenye wanapata. Watoto hatuna maji ya kuwaogesha nayo. Nilikuwa na mbuzi 50, zimekufa zote, nimebaki na 4. Kiangazi ikiendelea, kunaweza kuwa na tukose maji, kuwa na njaa, ukose pesa kununulia watoto chakula, na njaa izidi.
Her affected children are currently receiving treatment for emergency malnutrition using a mixture of ready-to-use therapeutic food that encourages rapid weight gain through the use of broad nutrient intake.
Watoto wangu 4, 3 ndio wako kwa program. Moja anapatiwa ile plumpy-nut nyekundu, 2 wanachukua plumpy-nut ile yellow, lakini wakati wa mwisho, wakati walikuja hapa wale watu wa afya, ule mwenye alikuwa anapatiwa plumpy-nut nyekundu amepatiwa plumpy-nut ile yellow.
Like her counterpart, she also depended on her livestock for income. Of the 50 goats she kept, only 4 seem to have somehow survived the drought, and she now has to depend on cash-ups to fend for her family.
Pesa inaingia kwa simu yangu, nachukua bodaboda, naenda mpaka town, nanunua maragwe, mchele, maziwa, narudi nyumbani kuwapikia watoto.
According to the World Food Programme, severe drought caused by 4 consecutive failed rainy seasons in the Horn of Africa has left over 18 million people facing severe hunger. More than 4 million of them live in the arid and semi-arid regions of northern and eastern Kenya. Over 50% of the people who live in Garissa County have been affected by the ongoing drought and are in dire need of food assistance and other drought mitigation interventions, according to Yusuf Gedi, a program manager from one of the many organizations responding to the drought situation in the county. The number of malnourished children, expectant and lactating mothers, he says, is well above emergency levels.
In Garissa County, we have over 66,000 cases of malnutrition, both moderate acute malnutrition and severe acute malnutrition. We have pastoral community that used to depend mostly on livestock in terms of milk and also food. So these livestock were affected by drought. Most of them have died. The few that have remained are trekking a longer distance to get water and pasture, which is also affecting the livestock body condition and limiting the milk availability, which is also a cause of malnutrition.
Garissa County has a population of about 900,000 people, and of this, the vast majority, at slightly more than 500,000, are in dire need of food intervention. 66,000 of those said to be in dire need of food are malnourished children under the age of 5 and pregnant and lactating mothers.
Yes, what we have seen in the recent past was increased nutrition caseload. Garissa is one of the counties that have recorded the highest number of, GAM rate. GAM rate is global acute malnutrition rate, which is at 20.2%, meaning 20.2% of the population have malnutrition. So I think this is one of the highest GAM rates that was recorded in Garissa, indicating that we have high prevalence of malnutrition in Garissa, which also affects quite a number of other things within the child. Like, for example, a child with malnutrition will have delay in going to school because of, going back to hospital most of the times, getting sick, missing out on lessons. So they will always have delay in going to school and also in concentration. So this is a child that if something is not done immediately, then a longer term impact will be seen in this child that will have an impact on his life.
To counter the effects of the drought on the health of this vulnerable group, Gedi says they organize outreaches in conjunction with the county government to help reach the most affected communities from about 131 sites with the aim of screening for malnutrition and initiation of treatment for those adversely distressed.
The goal of these outreaches is to boost vulnerable people amongst the community members, that is under 5 lactating and pregnant women. As we are speaking, we are doing mass screening, and from the result, there is serious malnutrition cases. And the only intervention, as we are speaking, is an outreaches. We are doing outreaches, we are screening and giving out supplements to those who become malnutrition. For us to give them supplements, there is screening we do. From there on, there is certain targets, certain figures we check from the registers, and whoever fall in, he or she will be admitted as malnutrition cases, and we give out supplements.
Nimeathiriwa sababu ya kutokuwa na maji, bila chakula. Unajua mama akiwa mjamzito akifanya kazi sana, si unajua pia hana chakula ya kutosha. Si unajua pia ukame iko, ile mbuzi na ng'ombe wote wameenda kwa sababu alikuwa anategemea hiyo. Ilipoenda ukame pia imekuja. Sasa mama amekuwa wiki. Tunaomba serikali watusaidie.
This particular outreach saw over 100 women and children screened. 17 of the pregnant and lactating mothers who came here were found to be malnourished. About 30 babies aged between 3 months and 5 years were also malnourished.
We do give out supplements, we do give health talks, there is nutritional counseling. We advise them to take what is possible. So the only solution is to support at grassroots level so that at least we can improve the current status to a better situation.
It's not only malnutrition and treatment of malnutrition, but we are looking at what are these other needs that these households have that can also make an impact in terms of improving their nutrition status. Like, for example, providing this household with water, with clean water, providing them with unconditional cash that they can use to buy food, targeting their livestock for animal vaccination and treatment, and also providing animal feeds for the key lactating animals for that household. Among other interventions in terms of strengthening the capacity of MOH to deal with malnutrition and also do treatment of malnutrition.
Globally, 1 in 5 deaths among children is attributed to wasting, making it one of the top threats to child survival. According to the Ministry of Health's Nutrition Situation Overview, as of February this year, over 970,000 children aged 6 to 59 months required management of acute malnutrition, compared to 884,000 reported in July last year. In a bid to protect the community's most vulnerable and ensure sustainable diets, even in the wake of the current erratic climatic patterns, GEDI advises that communities should invest in sustainable and resilient food systems and practice climate-smart agriculture.
Hali inakuwa mbaya kwa sababu hakuna injili ya kulima shamba, hata shamba iko lakini hakuna injili ya kulima, hakuna ile injili ya kutafuta maji, lakini iko shamba mituni iko karibu kama na injili iko, lakini hakuna injili. Erla ameleta juzi injili ameharibika, maji amehama kwa mahali mbali. Sasa wanafanya nini? Wanaharibika shamba.
I know we have been doing quite a number of drought response interventions. Yes, they are very key because it is life-saving, and during an emergency we need to focus on the life-saving interventions. But then if we could complement the life-saving interventions with developmental and long-term projects, focusing on the climate change and adaptations, how to make sure that we also consider the climate change and what are the adaptation measures that we can have, so that as we also respond to drought, then we can also have other interventions that will build the resilience of these communities in terms of the climate change adaptations.
Today, levels of acute malnutrition are either critical or extremely critical in most counties, according to the government. And with no hope in sight, experts warn that the country's nutritional status is likely to move from bad to worse in the coming months. They advise on the need to scale up mass screening, ramp up hotspot mapping, and regularly carry out health and nutrition integrated outreach programs. But perhaps what will save the country's children is blanket supplementary feeding in the most affected areas in order to cushion them and their mothers from acute malnutrition. Here in Garissa, as in the rest of the country, families live under the mercy of the weather gods. And as they struggle to just stay alive, the small yet hugely important interventions of community health workers and non-governmental organizations are saving lives, one supplement at a time. Gloria Milimu, KTN News.